Chapter 5 is entitled Reciprocation, formerly known as An Awkward Day, Parts 1 and 2. Okay, so awkward is funny. Will this chapter be funny? I don't know. The next morning, I was woken up by the sounds of things falling over, followed by what tooting. I sat up on the couch and rolled my eyes, yawning and stretching. A series of satisfying pops told me that I was limbered up.
Good morning, Geo, said Twilight cheerfully. Spike and I are reorganizing the library. Would you like to help?
What time is it? I asked.
8 a.m.,
Spike said grumbly, stifling a yawn. Well, I replied with a small laugh. There's an 8 a.m.? I can't remember when I was last up this early in the morning. Twilight looked at me.
What time do you usually get up?
She asked, levitating her notebook and quill over to her. I don't start working until 6 at night, I said smugly. So I usually get up at noon, sometimes even at 1 in the afternoon.
Interesting.
Twilight scribbled some notes.
And are all humans like that?
Not all of us, I replied. Just me, anyone else who works a night shift, and those without jobs, if they feel like it. Twilight scribbled down some more notes as Spike looked at me with awe. His eyes were wide and sparkling. You can sleep until noon? His voice full of amazement. I can only dream of something like that. Hey, Twilight, can I...
Maybe at the weekend,
she interrupted. Something about her tone of voice told me that Spike wouldn't stop pestering her until she said no. Thanks, Twilight. Spike plumped the air with a small fist. He was grinning from ear to ear, relishing the thought.
Oh, I almost forgot,
Twilight said, indicating 2 boxes on the floor.
These arrived for you earlier. Rarity got your clothes finished quicker than she expected, so she sent them over. The other box is from Princess Celestia.
It's a bomb, don't open it. I went over to the boxes. Since I was desperate for a change of clothes, I opened the one from Rarity first, and saw that there was a note inside. I picked it up and read it.
Dear Geo, here are your clothes. I hope you find them presentable. As you can see, I've made you a whole week's worth. I followed your instructions, and I'm as plain as what you were wearing when I met you. No offense. Do not worry about paying me, as Princess Celestia has already taken care of it. And even if she hadn't, I still wouldn't take payment. I'm doing this because I see you as a friend. I hope to see you again sometimes. And once again, welcome to Ponyville. I hope you enjoy your stay. Kindest regards, Rarity.
I folded the note and put it down. I opened the box and found several t-shirts similar to the one I was wearing, as well as a few pairs of trousers. Digging further into the box, I found that Rarity had even made socks and underwear. What a fantastic mare, I chuckled. This stuff is a lot better than anything I get on Earth. Yeah, fuck you, Cottonelle. I put the box next to the sofa and took some of the items upstairs. After a quick shower, I changed into the new clothes and put the dirty ones into the bin. It felt great to be in clean clothes again. Feeling refreshed, I picked up the other box and opened it. Inside was a small burlap sack and another note, bearing what looked like a royal seal.
Dear Geo, I hope that you are settling in well to your new life in Equestria. I've enclosed a small sum of money to help you get started. Please find enclosed a sack of 100 bits. I've also granted you the same rights as any other citizen of Equestria. Normally I would expect my citizens to find a job, but your job is to assist Twilight Sparkle for research on your species. You'll be paid 50 bits a week for your services. It's not too bad. Which I am also responsible for. If you ever need to talk, I'm always available. My role of duties are few, so I always have time to spare for my subjects, no matter who or what they are. Princess Celestia.
I put the letter back into the box and picked up the sack. Looking inside, I could see several golden coins. This must be the equestrian currency, I said to myself. Might as well make use of it. I put the sack of coins in my pocket and went to find Twilight. Twilight, I called out. There was no reply. I went into the back room and saw a journal on her desk. Looking closer, I could see the words Human Study Volume 1 across the top of the page. Volume 1? Jeez, how much studying can one pony do? Glancing through the document, I saw what Twilight had been writing about me. Everything from my dress sense to how I handled pain was recorded. It was all very extensive. There's gotta be something in there about her thoughts and how much she loves you. Reading further, I saw a section which I couldn't read very well due to Twilight's handwriting, At least, I assumed she was using her magic to hold the quill. Scrunching my eyes, my brain made out the words, human dating. I groaned and covered my face with my palm. Why would she need to know about that? I said to myself.
Geo, where are you?
The voice belonged to Twilight. I put the journal down where I found it, regained my composure, and went back into the living room. Here I am. I've been looking for you, I said as calmly as I could.
You have?
Twilight raised an eyebrow.
Why?
I took the bag of coins out of my pocket. Princess Celestia sent me this. It's a sack of 100 bits, and I'm to get another 50 a week for helping you with your research on humans.
That's good,
Twilight replied with a smile.
I'm really looking forward to asking you more questions.
Me too, I smiled, shaking the bag to listen to the jingling of coins. But first, how about breakfast? My treat. Twilight looked around for a moment before nodding.
Very well then.
Oh, very well then. I opened the door and held it for her. Shall we?
You go on ahead,
Twilight said quickly.
I'll catch up. I just need to, read something.
Okay then. I'll see you at Sugar Cube Corner, I said with a shrug, stepping out of the library. As I closed the door behind me, I heard a slight hum. Curious, so I put my ear to it and listened.
No, nope, not that one either. Aha!
Twilight said, obvious to my presence. I heard pages rustling and realized that she was indeed reading a book. I heard her mumbling something and then the book closing.
It's not that,
she said quietly.
Just a friend taking me to breakfast. Nothing more.
Oh, she thinks it's a date, and now she's having internal conflicts with her mind. Just have sex already. This is so aggravating. Damn it. There was a pause before she spoke again.
But then again, it would give me a chance to study how humans behave on a date. If this could even be called a date.
With those words, I backed away from the door. I then walked to Sugar Cube Corner as fast as I could. As I walked, I could only think of one thing. That this was going to be one of those days. An awkward day. I get it. I went to Sugar Cube Corner, panting heavily from the large strides I had been doing. I put my hands on my knees and took several deep breaths, trying to forget what I'd read in Twilight's book. Eventually, I made my way to the counter. There was nobody there. Hello? I called. A series of crashing noises told me someone was in the kitchen. I tried to lean over for a closer look, but when a pink face suddenly appeared in front of me, causing me to gasp and fall over in shock.
Oh, hi, Geo,
said Pinky Boy.
What brings you here at this time?
Breakfast, I replied, as I dusted myself off.
Okie dokie Loki,
joined Pinky, disappearing to the kitchen again. I scratched my head, a confused look on my face. Pinky? I asked. What are you doing? She poked her head around the kitchen door.
I'm getting you breakfast, silly. I have no idea what you want, but who cares?
She said with a smile.
I hope you like pancakes.
I smiled and nodded. Hell yeah, I like pancakes. I paused for a moment. Oh, and could you get something for Twilight as well, please? She's supposed to be joining me soon.
Okay, I'll get her some pancakes as well. Every pony loves pancakes,
came the reply. I chuckled quietly and took a seat, just as Twilight came in. There you are, I said as calmly as I could. I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me. Pinky's making us pancakes.
Why would I forget about you?
Twilight replied nervously.
You offered to treat me to breakfast, and I accepted.
Just then, Pinky arrived with 2 plates of pancakes.
Enjoy,
she said as she put them down and disappeared in a puff of confetti. I took a bite of the pancakes and was immediately taken aback by how good they were. I noticed Twilight glancing over at me as she ate her own. What's wrong, Twilight? I asked as gently as I could. She's avoiding your gaze and is getting nervous when you talk to her. Isn't that how most romances start? My brain asked. Keep pressuring her, and soon you will find out.
Huh?
Twilight looked puzzled.
No, nothing's wrong. It doesn't matter.
Pardon me for saying, I replied. Looks like it does matter.
Well, it's just that I need to ask you some questions.
You've been asking me questions since I got here. Why would it be so hard to do that now? I knew it was coming, having read her notes, but I wanted to hear from Twilight. I continued eating as she prepared to speak.
I need to ask you about human mating.
Never has the title made so much sense. The shock of hearing that word caused me to nearly choke on my pancakes. Twilight's eyes widened, and she gasped.
I'm sorry, she said, panic rising. Is it a delicate subject?
Mating? I said loudly. A bit too loudly, in fact, given the curious stares I was getting from the other customers.
Well, yes, Twilight nodded. I did say that I wanted to learn everything about humans.
Why don't you come and find out? I could feel myself turning redder than I ever thought possible. Twilight's always looking into mine, combined with the stares of the other customers, were beginning to make me feel rather uncomfortable indeed. All right, I'll answer your questions, I said. Twilight smiled and opened her mouth to speak, but I cut her off with raised hand. But not here. It's too personal.
Back to the library? Back to the library, then?
She asked, her panic replaced with glee. Yes, on my bed. My couch. Your couch. Same fucking difference. Let's finish our breakfast and I'll tell you what you need to know. Twilight nodded and we both continued eating our pancakes. As we ate, I kept asking myself how I could have possibly mistaken mating for dating in Twilight's journal. Confound her bad horn rotting. Back at the library, I sat on the sofa, sweat poured from my brow. To say I was nervous would be an understatement. Twilight didn't seem to notice as she picked up a journal and quill. She sat down opposite me, her eyes looking into mine. Now it was my turn to avoid her gaze.
You seem rather nervous, she said. This isn't part of the human mating process, is it?
Sweat from the brow? Yeah, it stimulates the skin cells. Holy shit. Holy shit. I think my new favorite moment. Oh. No, it isn't, I replied, my voice squeaking with embarrassment as I gripped the edges of my seat.
Oh, okay.
Twilight seemed disappointed. Just ask me what you need to know, I said quickly.
Well, I guess the first thing I should ask is, how long does human mating last?
15 minutes, or made up something on the spot. Though some humans have been known to go for longer.
Wow, that's impressive,
Twilight said with a sly smile. She ordered down and looked at me again.
How long are human women with child?
9 months, I replied, sarcastically thinking that my basic knowledge of biology was finally good for something.
Okay.
Twilight scribbled in her notepad.
All done.
What? Exactly what? That's it? I said tersely.
Yep.
She smiled, then noticed a certain expression on my face.
Unless you want to tell me more.
Oh, I'd rather show you. I laughed sheepishly. No. There's nothing to tell you about nothing more to tell you about human mating. Twilight looked at me with concern, her soft purple eyes gazing deep into mine. She furrowed her brow for a moment before letting out a small gasp.
Oh my. You've never
had sex? I turned an even deeper shade of red and laughed madly. Yeah, you've got me there. Twilight looked at the floor as I buried my head and my face in my hands. We sat in silence for a while, neither of us willing to speak. After what seemed like hours, Twilight spoke.
So why haven't you done it?
She asked softly.
If you don't mind me asking, that is.
I was just looking for the right girl. Getting too used to this voice. I sighed. Well, you know how I had no friends before I got here? I said, looking in the eyes. She nodded. Well, my inability to make friends also extended to talking to the opposite sex. So I found it hard to talk to girls. That and didn't really like me that much. Aw.
Why not?
She said, looking shocked.
Why would any pony not like you? What possible reasons would they have?
I don't know, I shrugged. They simply told me to leave them alone. Poor Geo. That or they'd throw their drinks in my face or get a male friend to threaten me. Poor Geo, that's horrible. We looked at Twilight. Her chest was heaving, her breathing had increased, her mane and tail were somehow disheveled, and her left eye had developed a tick. Suddenly she began ranting.
How can they do that? She shouted. They just don't take the time to get to know you. You're smart, kind, good-looking.
Me? Good-looking? I cut her off and let out a hollow laugh.
Listen to yourself, she bellowed. You've got a negative opinion of yourself, simply because some pony else does.
I opened my mouth to speak, but she raised a hoof.
I'm not done yet. I've only known you for a few months, but in that time I've gotten to know the real you. You've been through so much, and asked for nothing in return.
I didn't reply.
In fact,
She said with a small laugh.
you remind me of me.
Haven't we already had this conversation? I chuckled.
This is different.
Twilight said sternly. Well, I guess it is, I replied. Please continue.
Stallions don't really care for a mare who reads a lot of books, Twilight said sadly. Every time I asked a guy out, he'd either be intimidated by my intellect or bored by it.
She sighed.
I can't tell you how many times a guy walked out on a date simply because I was using a lot of big words that they didn't understand.
Tears started to form in her eyes. They seriously did that? I said loudly. Twilight turned to face me. You are who you are. If no pony can accept that, well, they can go fuck themselves. My voice was full of anger. That's the spirit. Let those emotions flow, and soon you will know whether or not she feels the same way about you as you do her. Twilight wiped the tears from her eyes as she sat down next to me on the sofa. I opened my arms for a hug, which she gladly accepted. As we sat in silence, a thought crossed my mind, causing me to chuckle.
What's so funny?
Said Twilight. I finally met someone who's like me in every way. And she's a completely different species. I laughed again. Twilight grinned.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I met some ponies like me in every way. And he's not even a pony.
She started laughing with me. We were laughing so much we both fell off the sofa. We stopped laughing and opened our eyes to find that we were face to face. At that time, another chuckle. Thanks for listening, Twilight, I said. I'm glad I can talk to... My words were cut off as she lunged forward and kissed me. You win. It was unexpected, but certainly not unwelcome. Her lips were soft, and they felt good pressed against mine. Yeah. Well, I guess that answers that question. Yeah. Unfortunately, I was so taken aback that I forgot to return the kiss. After what seemed like an eternity, Twilight broke away from me, her face now resembling one of Applejack's apples. She laughed awkwardly for a moment before looking at the floor.
I'm sorry, she said. I don't know what came over me.
A heavy air of tension hung in the room as we both sat in silence. After a while, I was the first one to break it. Why did you do that? I asked.
I don't know,
Twilight sighed, looking me in the eyes.
It just felt right.
I don't know what to say, I replied. My first ever kiss. It's with another species. Go figure.
Ever since I first met you, I've been happy in your company. You were another species, injured and helpless, and I felt like I could be the one to take care of you, Twilight explained. But through all of our conversations about you and your life, I realized that you are more like me than any pony I've ever met.
I looked over at the window. The midday sun beat down on Ponyville as the residents passed by. What are you trying to say, Twilight? I asked her bluntly. Yeah, get her to admit her feelings first, and then you reveal yours. Ah, love, how cliched it can be. Twilight didn't answer me question. Twilight, I said with a sigh. What are you trying...
I'm trying to say that I love you,
she proclaimed. Well, look at her. She's shaking like a leaf with tears forming in her eyes as she looks back at me.
I love you, she muttered, but you don't feel the same way. You didn't even return my kiss.
Of all the ponies here, it's you who's been by my side the most. It was you who took me to the hospital. You were my first visitor when I woke up, and it was you who gave me a place to stay. In short, it was you who helped me start my new life. I wiped the tears from my eyes as I continued. You helped me to realize that it was possible for me to have friends again. You've been with me every step of the way, and I will never forget your kindness. Twilight hugged me. I lifted her head up and brought my face close to hers. She shuddered in anticipation. You've shown me compassion that I would never ever get from any human.
What are you trying to say?
Twilight began. Now it was my turn to cut her off with a kiss. I've already clapped enough. A small squeal escaped Twilight's lips, and she returned my kiss just as eagerly. At this moment in time, I was happy than I'd ever been. The feeling of this moment was magical, and I was loving every second of it. Soon Twilight broke off the kiss and smiled at me. But I thought that I do love you, I said.
I've loved you for a couple months now, but it all seemed so rushed I didn't know whether or not I should tell you. So when you kissed me, well, I was surprised. That's why I didn't return it. Twilight giggled. Oh, that explains a lot, she replied. The time we spent together in the hospital helped, but when we had our conversation about making friends, that's when I knew you were the one for me. I put my arms around her, hugging her close. And you're the one for me, I whispered. It was at this moment that I realized that I, for the first time in my life, I had someone who truly cared for me. This was the start of my new life. This is where I belonged, here in Equestria, with the mare of my dreams. Excellent. That would be the perfect ending to the story, but guess what? There is 5 chapters left. Chapter 13 is part 2. Hey, wait, hold on. Oh, no. United part 2 is only 19 words, so I don't really think that counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this would have been a perfect ending, but I'm assuming that other stuff happens. Probably more fuzzy-duzzy, lovey-duzzy, lovey, fucking have sex love. But that was a great chapter. And my new favorite moment. Is that a part of the human mating cycle? Yes. You can make that in Gmod if you want, Geo. I don't know. I'll probably find at least 45,000 other favorite moments, but for now, that stands the test of time. So with that in mind, 2 chapters of this, and whatever the fuck that last story was. Greatness is what it was. And that will conclude the reading session for today. I'll be back. I'm not going to say it. I can't say it. Every time I say it, it's not going to happen. I will be back when I get back. When is that? Well, soon. That's all I'm going to say. Very soon. So thank you guys for watching, listening, and see you tomorrow. Bottle cap? Why do you always get away? I thought we had something. All these years. Now stay there. I can't fucking believe this. I recorded that for no reason whatsoever.